Good morning. This is Cecil and Blues. Welcome to the Wildstar Weigh-In. We are just over a full week into Wildstar. How's it been going for everyone? So far, I've been rehashing a lot of what I've already done, and as much as I enjoy each zone in Wildstar and their unique contribution to its story, I have to say I am getting a little bit sick of the first 20 levels. I am getting ready to move on to Whitevale, though. I actually was in there a little bit on a Dominion character yesterday, and I'll be continuing to do that today, and probably over the weekend, confirming my notes and collecting video footage in order to edit together some guides next week. You know, honestly, that's actually a great part of doing the collection guides. It forces me to slow down, really look at each zone, go to every little part of it, look at the characters involved, understand the story that's taking place, and what the game is trying to tell us. I really like that, and it doesn't hurt me too bad that everyone else is probably closing in on 50 if they aren't there already, and meanwhile I'm just starting the level 23 content. In addition to starting my characters over from scratch, this is a new beginning for this program in another way. I started a blog titled Wildstar Weight Loss about a year and a half ago. The goal was to lose weight while keeping up on Wildstar news. When I started the blog, I was at 225 pounds, and I very quickly dropped to 220 pounds. I then struggled to try and get my way down to 215 pounds. I never made it, and in the last 6 months I've actually gained back all the weight and then some. I am currently sitting at 230 pounds. So starting today, I am going to take back control of that measurement, and we're going to start bringing that number down again. I've started drinking a little bit less soda, I've started eating a little bit more healthy, and I've started doing some core exercises to kind of build my muscles back up so that I have the strength in order to do some more strenuous exercise, which I hopefully should be able to start next week. And I'm going to join my roommates. They do P90X, so that's going to be fun. I imagine that's going to completely destroy my body, and with any luck it will focus on the fat part of my body and not the part of my body that allows me to walk. We'll see. While I'm doing that, I'm obviously still going to continue to report on Wildstar news and opinions. Speaking of Wildstar news and opinions, gold farmers, am I right? I'm sure everyone else is getting at least one email an hour in-game from gold farmers with various titles, Desperation Amp, hello friend, and then when you think you got that under control and you're not getting any emails, then all of a sudden you get a team invite, right? So I mean, there's ways to protect yourself from the team invites. You just get yourself on an arena team, and then I guess you won't be able to be further harassed like that. And hopefully they are going to be doing something. I did read a tweet yesterday from Cougar that said that they are working on addressing these security loopholes and preventing them from harassing other players in ways that doesn't affect the normal play, so that if you're not spamming gold farmers or spamming as a gold farmer, then you'll still be able to use the arena invite system for what it's designed to do. And that's good to hear. What else have we had going on? We've actually seen a lot of bug fixes over the last week and a half, and it does get a little frustrating to have the servers go down almost nightly. Last night we had a half-hour bug fix go in, and it was to address one thing. It was a item of some sort that did a life drain, and apparently it was draining 2-3 times the amount of health it should have been doing, or at the very least healing for that amount, and it was just super broken, so they had to fix it to keep the game competitive at high levels. And that's good to know, but still frustrating that at 12:30 I was done for the night. I guess it's nice to have a reminder to go to sleep from time to time. Let's look at some of the specific fixes that they've done over the week and a half. They've done so many. I'm not going to cover everything, but I'm going to cover things that I think are kind of big issues that people might have encountered. Your account items. These are the items that were bound to your account, things you might have earned in beta, or things that were given to you in the deluxe or pre-order edition of the game. These had some problems in the first couple of days. Stuff wouldn't appear, stuff wouldn't let you claim it, stuff would lock out even though it didn't give it to you. It seems most of these issues have been corrected. I still might recommend not equipping head items on an incredibly low-level character. It seems to confuse the bejesus out of the system. I've not lost anything as a result. Eventually it corrects itself, but I have had items that I am unable to interact with for several levels. That's all the bug issues. There is one additional issue that they brought up on the forums. It is in regards to the deluxe item Elden Die Pack. Apparently, it was always the intention of the development team to provide one die in that pack, and that die is described as a golden green die. The gold in the description is meant to describe its kind of shifting nature, the way light reflects off of it. But there was a bit of confusion in the messaging, and some people thought there were supposed to be two dies. Some of those people were community team members and may have, if asked directly, said that there were two dies. So, as a result, they are going to provide a second die to us, but they don't want to just steal a die from elsewhere in the game and give it to us and say, they're happy. So instead what they're doing is they're creating a whole new die. It'll be an Elden golden die specific, and that's going to go through a development cycle, and once it is added to the game, it will be given to you if you have the achievement, and it will be awarded to anyone in the future who opens up the package. So if you were one of the people who was maybe disappointed or confused when you only got one die out of the Elden Die Pack, now you know what the deal is, and you can look forward to a second die. Next, let's talk about the advanced riding skill. This was an interesting issue. Apparently, very early on, this wasn't doing anything. You'd buy your riding skill upgrade, and it just wouldn't do anything. And you could just keep buying it, and it would just keep not doing anything. So one of the issues regarding that was if you had 0 amp points when you made the purchase, it would cause the upgrade to fizzle. It would still take your money, but it would cause the upgrade to fizzle. They seem to have fixed that, so I believe you will get the benefit. It is still possible to purchase the buff multiple times, so cool your jets, ease off that clicky finger a little bit, and you should be fine. There is confusion if you're on a mount when you buy it. The buff might not update until you dismount and remount. Just check your tooltips, make sure it's saying that you're getting the buff. Otherwise, you may think that you don't get it when it has been applied. That's the official message from customer service, so I believe that most of the bugs regarding this are fixed. Just be a little bit cautious when you purchase it so you don't accidentally buy it more than once. There have been several exploits that have been identified and fixed over the last week or so. One of the big ones, the reputation vendor in Crimson Badlands, was selling cheap, unverified loot. As a result, they have been removed from the game, one for the Exiles, one for the Dominion. They've been removed from the game temporarily. All the loot that they were selling has been downgraded from blue quality to green quality. So if you purchased any of those items and you haven't noticed yet, this actually was patched in about a week ago, if you haven't noticed yet, they are now green. They have the same sell price as their buy price, so you can get your money back for them. And in the future, they will be re-itemizing and fixing the way reputation is calculated so that they can put those vendors back into the game. And that hasn't happened yet, but I imagine it should happen pretty soon. They just have to create all new item like entries for them, because the original item entries are now nerfed because it was easier than just taking them back from people, I think. We also had some PvP fixes. Those went in on the 10th. They said there's some better AFK detection, but according to the current issues thread, there are people who are getting booted from the game even though they aren't AFK. So if you're having an issue like that, make sure to report the details to customer service so that they can better design a fix that will benefit everyone. And there was also other fixes. I think you could sneak past the gate at the beginning of Wall Tiki Temple, and they've just, you know, addressed some balancing issues. There have also been some general improvement to the quest track base UI. There was scaling issues where the quests would all get smooshed together. They also fixed it so the numbers correctly update when it reorders the number of quests on the mini-map and on the map, so that you can actually draw a connection between which quest is being displayed and what you need to do in that area. What else do we have? There are still ongoing pending items. Looking at the pending issues thread, they are working on fixes for things. They actually say there's things not even on the list that they are looking at, and you can expect fixes to be coming soon. Nameplates are going to be getting a little bit of love. That will be mostly to correct the large-scale PvP problems. You get into a large group and your nameplates just disappear. So I hope that in the process of fixing that, it also fixes some PvE stuff. I have nameplates disappear all the time, even in small numbers. So, I don't know, I keep being tempted to download the add-on UI BG plates, but I forget before I start playing, and then I'm playing, and I'm having a good time, and I don't really want to leave the game. So I'd really like to see them update the base UI to just make it a little bit more player-friendly, playable, and just help the people who aren't really interested in modding the game and keeping up on mods. Sometimes they're great. I really do love the open, what do they call it, API, and I think that's great, and I'm sure there's going to be really powerful and useful add-ons to come, but I like to avoid them as much as possible. So I'm glad that most of the UI in Wildstar is pretty functional. What else do we have going on? There have been bugs in the quest Enemy at the Gate. This is a will-to-run quest, and it is currently not able to be completed. It will stop your story progress in the zone, so hopefully that'll be addressed pretty soon. I believe you can bypass it, you can move forward, and you can start your next quest line. Like each quest line in each zone is kind of centered around a thing, and so you won't be able to complete that particular quest line, but you can move forward and continue the story, and you'll have to come back in the future. The War of the Wilds adventure is having problems. They made some fixes to make it a little bit harder, and now it's not possible to get gold. So I guess mission accomplished? The Stalker ability Neutralize continues to cause problems for players. If you mount before the ability cost resets, it won't reset. So the fix is stay off your mount, I guess. And they should be hopefully addressing all of these issues and more within the next week or so. And then, once all these bugs have been addressed, we can start looking at balance issues. They have said that they find medics damage to be lacking, especially when focusing on single targets. So hopefully they will be able to kind of look at the class balance and make changes as we're going forward, and we lead up to that new patch. We had Frost showed a brief vine earlier this week that showed a character's arm like mutate into a like strain wormy face thing and slither around as they panicked. So I hope that's a sign of things to come in the very near future. Yeah, I'll say that in general, it's been a pretty strong launch. They've had problems, but I think every good game has problems, and it's defined by how they're addressed. That's my opinion, and my opinion is the only opinion I have access to at the moment. If you have a different opinion, please throw it into the comments. I've personally not been majorly impacted by any of the downtimes. I did have one night where I had taken a nap, and I was going to stay up late, and then they announced downtime. I stayed up for an hour and a half to wait for the downtime to be over, and then the downtime wasn't over, and it took like 3 hours to get the servers back up. That was kind of a pain in the butt, and it felt a little bit like a wasted evening. But you know what? These things happen at an MMO's launch, and I would rather have a game that is not playable for a couple hours every couple of days than have a game that is unplayable. Again, my opinion. If you have a different opinion, throw it in the comments. I would love to hear it. And next week, I am going to be talking about PvP. Yeah, I've been doing a bit of PvP leveling, exclusive PvP leveling, and I'm still kind of collecting the data on that, and so I don't want to talk too much about it yet. But next week, that'll be the entire focus of my discussion, what it's like to level PvP, and the differences between leveling PvE, what their benefits are, and what the disadvantages are. Until then, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a great day.